procrastination isn't always laziness. Sometimes it's avoidance and overwhelm. It's fatigue, emotional fatigue, fear, failure, and perfectionism. And that's costly because it can mask as laziness when it's not. So you have to normalize the struggle without excusing it. You have to understand the why. You have to understand the why behind your delay. What's causing you to put yourself in such a position to be lazy? But, what's causing that procrastination? And once you get a better understanding of that, things will start to open up, things will start to make sense. You have to reframe the procrastination, as an opportunity to learn about yourself rather than labeling yourself as lazy, a bum, whatever it may be, even the labels that other people may put on you, because that's also an issue, and that's also a thing that people will project. You know what I mean? People would put those allegations of, oh, you just lazy, you don't want to do anything, but there's a deeper reason, there's something else going on. So use that as an opportunity to understand and get to know who you are, and why you treat yourself and handle yourself and move the way you move, as far as the procrastination is concerned here. I mean, the next thing that doesn't get talked about enough, and I've heard the conversation a little bit online, and people, kind of dibble and dabble in it. It's the myth of masculine productivity. This constant thing, for some reason, with men, it's like hustle culture, and just this mindset of like, you gotta grind 24/7. Like, you have to challenge that toxic way of thinking, because in reality, you don't have to grind 24/7. You hear me? Like, you need to rest, you need to have clarity, and you need to like focus on what's in front of you, and focus on effort more than hustle culture. I've been saying for years that hustle culture is so toxic. I think it does more harm than it does good, because what it does is it puts unnecessary pressure on you as an individual than necessary. You hear me? Like, this idea of, if you're not grinding 24/7, then you're not being productive. It's lazy. You don't really want it, and that's bad for a multitude of reasons. You hear me? Like, because at the end of the day, you need to rest. At the end of the day, you need to take a break. Sometimes when you grind it 24/7, I'm guilty of this. What I used to do is I used to work until burnout, and I used to get frustrated. And not only would I get frustrated with myself, but I would get frustrated with the people around me, like my family, you hear me? Because I would be so tired. But, when I'm tired, it's like, oh, well, I'm gonna keep going. And like, I'm 6 to 8 hours in of editing videos, creating content, sending emails, editing stuff for my website and things like that. So much has to get done. And instead of just taking a break, I would just go into burnout and realize that I wasn't really accomplishing nothing. Nothing was getting done. I was just frustrated doing the work after a certain point. Sometimes you have to take a break and then revisit it with a fresh set of eyes, with a clearer mind. You hear me? So keep that in mind, that like, productivity isn't always about doing more all the time. Sometimes it's literally about doing what matters the most, and doing it with a fresh set of eyes after you put in a little time the day before. So don't get caught up in this whole toxic masculinity thing of having to grind and work 24 hours and 24/7. Like, you're gonna end up, hurting yourself in more than one way. The next thing is, you have to build structure that aligns with who you want to become. In my opinion, this is probably one of the easiest things. You have to focus on those non-negotiables. You have to focus on those daily systems of discipline. Like, set up routines, put yourself on a schedule, use practical tools that's going to be beneficial to you. everything ain't for everybody. So some of the tools that I may offer may not be for you. Figure out what works for you and apply it. You hear me? What you see online from other creators who may have a plan, you take what you need, you leave what you don't. You hear me? Like journaling, writing things down, whether that be physically writing it down with a pen and paper or putting it in your phone. Maybe your thing is you got a calendar on your refrigerator or on a wall somewhere in your house where you can pencil in and key and write in what you need when you need it. You know what I mean? Like when you schedule when you schedule your goals, when you schedule what needs to be done, it's like you honoring those things. You honoring yourself. You hear me? Like the more repetition you put into it, the more time you take to apply, that structure to your life, the better off it be. And it's something that you're gonna have to do over and over and over. The first 2 weeks are gonna be the easiest. When you decide to like put yourself on a system and structure things out, the first 2 weeks are the easiest. You're gonna feel like you're on cloud nine, like it's the best thing that happened. Like, oh, you have to do this with ease. And then by week 3, you're gonna start to get that fatigue. You're gonna start to be like, well, I'm not gonna follow it today. And that's where you hurt yourself. You gotta push through even when you don't feel like it, even when it's uncomfortable, even when you fatigue, even when you like, oh well, I'll shake back in a day, I'll shake back in 2 days. Ultimately, what you're doing is delaying, procrastinating what you're supposed to be doing, and that's not what you want. You hear me? Like you have to keep the promises to yourself before you try to lead somebody else. Give advice to other people. The reason why I feel comfortable and confident talking to you and telling you these things right now is because I'm doing the work currently. You know what I mean? So like you got to keep those promises to yourself. If you tell yourself that, moving forward, you're going to be more productive, you're going to stop just wallowing away and just waiting on a perfect time for everything to just like fall in line, or you only do things when you feel good, then, you're not no good to yourself and nobody else for that matter. Like self accountability is the foundation of manhood. It's the foundation for everything else in your life. It's the foundation for where you want to go, how you not only show up for yourself, but how you show up for other people, whether that be strangers, family, romantic partners, or whatever. Like if you don't have self accountability and you don't have a solid foundation that you stand on, you can't expect other people to come and stand on that foundation, because not only will that foundation like crumble under you, it's gonna crumble under whoever is standing on it with you. And that's not what you want. Procrastination fades when your word to yourself becomes non-negotiable. You have to not only keep your word to the point that like it hurts and it's uncomfortable. You have to like hold on to it, because as a man, if you don't have your word, then what do you have? And I don't mean it like in a nasty way, or to like for somebody to feel bad, you hear me? But like you have to hold yourself, like I said in a previous video, to a certain standard. Procrastination isn't the end of the world. However, it is delaying your progress. It's delaying, where you want to go and who you want to become by a certain time. You can't say that, within a year you want to be in this place. You want to accomplish these goals, but for 7 months out of the previous year, you've done nothing. In the 3 months that you tried, you didn't try hard enough. Or the 4 months that was left, like you start something and say, in 2025, by the end of 2025, you want to have such and such accomplished. And here we are in July, and it's just been excuses after excuses, procrastination, and you're not really trying to understand your whys. You're not really trying to get to the bottom of it. You're not trying to help yourself. Stop feeling sorry for yourself and start to build something. Maybe you need to reach out to people to help you and assist you along the way. There's nothing wrong with that. But you have to break that cycle, because if you don't, you're going to look up in a year, 2 years, and you're going to be in the same position, in the same place, doing the same things and expecting different results, which they call insanity. If you don't break that cycle and figure out why you procrastinate so much, like what are you afraid of? Are you afraid of that failure? Are you afraid of the unknown? So you rather continue doing the same thing because it's comfortable to you and it's familiar. Ask yourself those questions, and you got to be honest with yourself as you embark on this journey of like placing the labels on you of like being lazy, because it may not be laziness, man. Like, you just have to figure out your why. You hear me? Like, you have to ask yourself, you know, would you follow you if push came to shove? If you would you take your own advice? And if you wouldn't take your own advice when it comes to building it, trying to get out of procrastination, laziness, because sometimes we get in that point to us, we be trying to help other people, you hear me? But you can't give advice that you're not taking. Now, what I found, I was at a point in my life where, like, I was trying to give advice to people, you hear me, about certain things, and I wasn't living by it or following it myself. So ask yourself, like, when people people come to you, your friends come to you, and they talking about, because they know you going through it, so they talking to you about their own procrastination and stuff like that, and you try to give them advice and tell them what they should be doing. You're not even taking your own advice. You're not using your own tools and the resources that you have to break yourself out of that. So if you're not listening to yourself, you can't expect other people to listen. You have to stop treating your goals like options. You set them for a reason, because you see something in yourself. There's something you want from you. It's something you expect from you. You hear me? So just keep that in mind, man. Keep your promises to yourself. That's all. Keep your promises to yourself. And remember, just don't put labels on yourself like that. You hear me? But figure out your why. Figure out what's causing these delays, and why sometimes you backslide and fall into old habits. And once you figure that out, man, you're going to take off like a rocket, and you're going to be unstoppable. So I appreciate you for tuning in to another episode of A Quick Little Word Podcast. It's your boy, Chris Wright. Be sure to check out the description for all of the links to clothing brand, facials.com. Be sure to check that out and get you something nice. My book, A Quick Little Word, is also linked below. And until next time, peace, love, and happiness.